Good evening. The time is now 4:33. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education special regular meeting for Monday, October 27, 2025 will please come to order. Will the acting clerk, Heidi Kader, please call the roll?
Heidi Kader, here. Sheila Pryor, absent. Sarah Johansson.
Here.
Paras Bende.
Here.
Valentina Ayers. Here. Dan Ginestra.
Here.
Milan Sahoni.
Present.
Dr. Chase Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda items. There is no consent agenda here this afternoon. There are two items on the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote? Acting clerk, I'm sorry.
Heidi Kader, yes. Sheila Pryor, absent. Sarah Johansson.
Yes.
Paras Bende.
Yes.
Valentina Ayers.
The agenda.
Yes. Dan Ginestra.
Yes.
Milan Sahoni.
Yes, thank you. We have an agenda. Next, we have the admin reports and recommendations. Executive Director of Human Resources, Dave Lutz, will recommend the approval of the WEA contract.
Thank you so much, members of the board, Superintendent Anderson. It's my privilege to present this next item to you. I'm going to read the summary that you have with the recommendation. So this is the board action on the contract with the Wayzata Education Association for fiscal years 2025 through 2027. The school board's negotiations team and the Wayzata Education Association's negotiations team reached a tentative contract agreement on October 9, 2025, after 22 negotiations meetings held from June to October. Subsequently, the WEA teachers voted on Tuesday, October 21st through Friday, October 24th to ratify the contract. The district's negotiation team included Milan Sahoni, Heidi Kader, Dave Lutz, Trevor Peterson as needed, Annie Doty. As you're aware, Annie Doty supported our district's team as an HR executive consultant. The WEA negotiations team included Rachel Falkowski, Tyler Trimberger, Catherine Kotke, Liz Baumgardner, Molly Bruce, and Lisa Carlson. So that's the team that was negotiating. Attached is a summary of the proposed two-year contract, including highlights and language changes. So you have those highlights as well. I'll also read through a couple of the highlights from the summary sheet as well, and then the rest of them you'll have had time to review. The contract negotiations process was challenging and time-intensive, but both teams believe the updates to the WEA contract illustrate a collaborative and thoughtful district partnership. We're also hopeful that these enhancements will continue to support attracting and retaining the best educators in the state of Minnesota and beyond. Our main goal of doing what's best for students, teachers, and the WPS community remained our top priority and guided us through all the hard work. Even with many new faces on both negotiations teams, including my own, we found our stride working together this summer through the interest-based bargaining process, or IBB process. With many discussions on important issues, we were also able to strengthen the relationship among district and union leadership along the way. I truly am incredibly thankful for the amazing work our teachers do every single day for our students. We are lucky to have such dedicated and talented educators in our district. So that's the summary that you have in front of you. You also have a series of contract language changes. I'm going to read through the highlights and major contract components section. So a salary increase of 3.75% in year one and 3% in year two. Extracurricular, or Appendix D is what we refer to it as, increase of 2% each year. District health premium contribution increase of 7% year one. That matches the premium increase of 7% that we experienced this year, and then up to a 5% increase for year 2. Numerous language changes and updates to support contract clarity for both the WA and the district, including increased alignment with our new teacher evaluation tool, which is the CEL 5D plus teacher evaluation and support framework. Again, as we change those tools, we have a lot of language in our contract that then requires updating. And also, it was an opportunity for us to then go into some of the areas to increase clarity for our teachers. We want all of our teachers to be very clear on the evaluation frameworks and tools, so that in the end they can do what they're supposed to do, which is help us continuously improve as a district. Contract updates to ensure compliance with labor laws, including FMLA, ESST, and our next coming change, which is Minnesota paid leave. So there's quite a few changes in recent years that we needed to update in the contract. The removal of high school event worker schedule, and that's one where we have another an item for approval. So in Appendix D of the WA contract, there's a section that articulates rates of pay for event workers. And as we were at the negotiations table, we agreed that that more appropriately fit within the supplemental salary schedules that we approve each year that are more of a rate of pay. So for a ticket taker or site supervisor or whatnot, those hourly rates we felt like are better for annual board review. That also allows our activities and athletics department to maybe recommend changes on an annual basis for any of those positions that maybe we have a new need, or we notice in our, activities funds, which is what those positions support, a change that we would then mirror with some of the rates of pay. So that one's actually removing from the WA contract, and then we put it into a supplementary schedule. So that would be the second item to review tonight. And then updates to existing MOUs and the addition of several new MOUs to review and refine practices specific to teacher reassignments and building changes, progressive discipline and pre-disciplinary improvement strategies, a new phased retirement program, committee to study teacher workload, and then an MOU that articulates the implementation of the Minnesota READ Act requirements. We received funds from the state to provide stipends to our teachers who had some of those READ Act requirements this last year. This is the second year of it, but with our contract under review, we included those in an MOU just so it was clear of who had to do these things, who was required of them, and then what the stipend they would receive would be. And then the 2-year total package cost. So our local costing model is a 10.26 over 2 years. That's year 1 plus year 2. As we were going through the negotiations process, there was an increase to TRA in I believe it would have been year 1 of our costing model. But in order to make sure that the cost is able to be compared with previous years and previous settlements, we decided to flatline that increase because anything above that increase amount was actually it comes back to the district in a following year, I believe. Is it following year or same year? Same year. Comes back to the district in the same year. So, and then MSBA is a different formula for calculating an increase. It'd be 8.95%. That would be if the TRA increase was included. So that's what we'd report to MSBA, and 8.11 without the TRA increase included. So those are the summary comments. The recommendation is in front of the board with that recommended action, which I'll allow Millen to read. But if you have any comments, I'm available any comments or questions, I'm available to answer questions at this time.
All right, thank you, Dave. So, board colleagues, the recommended action is to approve the contract with the Wayzata Education Association for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2027, as agreed upon by the bargaining teams and ratified by the Wayzata Education Association. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there a discussion? Valentina, yes, please.
I have several questions for clarification. One of them is, my understanding per statutes, the negotiations, I just discovered that they are open to public other than our board meetings when we're coming up with strategy, supposed to be closed sessions. So I want to clarify, we discussed obviously some numbers, some percentages. I believe since it's open to the public, I can disclose information about what was previously considered.
No, Valentina, let me just correct that. No, we are not required to disclose that to the public, although
Okay.
the teachers union can ask for a recording of that discussion. We cannot disclose it here at the board table.
But at the same time, I guess for Future Learn, yeah, public can come to table. It's according to statute. Public employers and exclusive representatives of employees may. No, wait a minute. All negotiation, mediation sessions and hearing between public employers and public employees or their respective representatives are public meetings, except when otherwise provided by commissioner. So in this case, it means anybody in future can come and listen to that negotiation. This is written in the statute.
Does it say anything about teachers' contracts or any kind of contracts that can be closed or should be closed, actually?
I just
believe that it can be closed.
read all negotiation mediation sessions and hearing between public employers. It's teachers are public employers, and employers and public employees. Teachers are public employees. So, okay, I will leave. I will leave. I guess previous numbers, but other questions I have. Would you be able to just tell a bit more about phased retirement program, which is going to be piloted? And
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so the intent of this program, and this is an MOU that actually came out of a neighboring district. So I believe Edina Public Schools had this in their contract, and we connected with Edina since there was some interest from our negotiations team of the WEA to consider this. The summary of that MOU is it's intended to be a cost-neutral solution for a teacher who is, let's say, a year from retirement. So if I'm a teacher and I'm going to retire in a year, most of our teachers who are that close to retirement are, higher on the salary schedule, and they might have, salary and benefits total package cost of double what a teacher who's brand new might have at BA step 1, right? And so the intent of that MOU is that the teacher who is in that position and ready to retire, if they've already have their, high 5 salary where they'd like it to be, and they just need another year of service to get to a retirement eligible age. So let's say they're at 61 and they want to get to 62 years of service to really limit any penalties or reduce those penalties. This is an opportunity for them to partner with the district to potentially do something that might be, I'd say, in the category of innovative, that might meet the need of either a building or the district in a really unique way, where if we're able to hire a replacement for them at that lower cost, they would take a reduced salary, not to go any less than BA Step 1, because that's what is required by TRA to earn a year of service in our district. They would then take a reduced salary, and essentially we'd be at a cost-neutral solution between those two employees, both to fill the role that they were in, that we need filled if they're a classroom teacher or whatever it is, but then it would also free up this teacher who is close to retirement, the 1 year away from doing something, innovative or helpful in our district that we may not otherwise be able to afford. And so the language in the MOU is really specific about this is a mutual benefit program. It's cost neutral. It needs to be mutual benefit. We have the ability to review requests for this program and say, oh, is this something that's going to move the needle for students and programs and whatnot? And might be a really unique opportunity, again, for both the individual seeking that additional year, but they can take it at a lower salary, but then also to maybe support our programs in a new way, do some teacher leadership or some really specific program support that we might not be able to afford otherwise.
Question I wanted to ask, sorry, I need a problem more clear. In the contract, the written language is something around age 55 and worked for 15 years. So teacher can retire after 15 years. How does it work?
Yeah, so you can retire kind of whenever you choose to retire. The thing that teachers who are going into this program, it says in there multiple times, they need to make sure that they consult with TA to know what their retirement eligibility is. 55, I think, is a lower than what we'd probably see. We'd probably see individuals that are closer to full retirement. So they might be, 62 or more, that would be interested in this program. But yeah, you can retire with, a district below that. You just might not get some of the benefits with TRA, or if there's something written into this. For us, it didn't seem, it was really important, I think, with both negotiations team that this is a phased retirement program. It's not just an interest program like, I'm going to try something new for a year or two and then go back to teaching. That's not what this is about. This is someone who's close to retirement, and there's really that year in the end where, hey, there might be something mutually beneficial here for our district and this individual to try out and give them kind of a cool way to retire at the end of their service to the district.
Thank you. Can I make a comment then?
Real quick, yes.
Okay. I looked through the contract. To be honest, most of the times when we were meeting, we were discussing more about percentage and fund balance. Didn't discuss that many details which were in the contract yesterday. I was very pleased to see that teachers standing up and they are talking about behavior issues. Class size committee is going to be organized, and then looks like there were some issues with teachers' reassignment and building moves. It's nice that teachers are not going to be sent just, there is going to be some consideration before just sending teacher from one building to another. And also, I liked that there is a committee which is going to be looking at workload, because lately teachers, I've been there myself, had been asked to do this and that, and sometimes workload is not visible, how much teachers can be busy. The only thing what leaves me uncomfortable with is when we discussed with 10.25% raise, even though I appreciate teachers, and I chose that profession because I loved my teachers, and I'm working myself, yes, in charter school, but at the same time, seeing at that time that our fund balance is, fund balance from 9.7% by the third year is going significantly down. Then it is even in our policy, 5 to 7%. MSBA, by the way, recommends, I think, it up to 20%. I understand it's a big number. I am feeling very uncomfortable, and knowing that we would like to think about class sizes, and when when we're eating out our nesting egg, so to speak, fund balance, I'm not sure how we are going to change the outcome for students by having smaller class sizes. And that leaves me trust me, I had to think through several days. What should I do? Even though, as I said, I mean, I love teachers. I chose this profession myself because teachers did changed my life. But at the same time, as a school board member, I'm supposed to watch finances. Therefore, I cannot vote for this particular contract. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Sarah.
So I had a comment, but now I've got a couple questions and a comment. First of all, can I just correct for the record? Are teachers getting a 10.26 raise?
No.
Tell me about that.
So in year one, it's a 3.75% on the salary schedule. In year two, it's 3%. When we look at total package costs, we really look at all of the things that are in that teacher contract, salary, benefits, any special language about extra days or whatnot. So we cost out everything that is included in that contract. And so, yeah, the numbers to pay most close attention to, while they're all important, is really the salary schedule increase and the benefits increase. The thing that I didn't comment in this forum, but I will now, is that for our teachers in Wayzata, our last cycle that we settled the contract with them, we settled pretty early prior to our peer districts. And it is true that last cycle, a number of districts, our peer districts, settled higher than we did, and even higher than this settlement that you have in front of you. And so I encourage individuals really to look at this as a 4-year settlement instead of a 2-year settlement, meaning look back at the last cycle as well. And that's what we've done through our negotiations, is really looked back at, okay, last time we settled a little bit earlier and lower than some of our peers, and this one kind of right sizes that a little bit. While it's maybe not as high as some of the spike settlements that we saw last time, when you look at some of the other settlements coming in around the metro area, things are kind of leveled out more. The other comment I'll make, it wasn't on your question, but a comment got made about the many good things are articulated in that summary. That's part of teacher negotiations, right? And so when we go through the IBB process, interest-based bargaining process, a lot of times we're not just talking about money. Actually, most of the time we're not talking about money. We're talking about the experience of the teacher in Wayzata Public Schools, of our teachers. And so how can we as a district and union partner together to ensure that this is a great place to work, just beyond the salary schedule, et cetera. And we have, things that we're facing that are not unique to Wayzata Public Schools. And how can we in Wayzata make sure that this is even that much more of an attracting place for our people who are here and our people who might consider us, right? And so, yeah, a lot of teacher negotiations is actually talking through issues. Some of them might not even be resolved in the contract. We talked about a lot of issues that you don't see in the summary sheet before you, because those are just language issues. But those are things where, we partner together and say, this one doesn't really need to be in the contract, but we should really work on the following, right? Or here might be a creative solution to really support our students and all that. So yeah, it really is 22 meetings. We talk a lot more about money. In fact, money is a very, very small chunk of those meetings. And again, through that, the relationships are great. And, as a couple of our negotiators came in and hi, how's it going? Miss hanging out. But yeah, it's a really good process.
Right. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm still in there. So I do remember, right, the last contract negotiation was in 2021, and our district probably remembers that year as we were in the throes of cost containment. and really in a different spot that we are fortunately not back here. I do also just want to correct for the record that Minnesota Statutes Chapter 13D.01 allows for a school board to close a meeting for the purposes of labor negotiations. So there are a number of reasons why one must close a school board meeting. There are a number of reasons why you can, and I just want to correct that. And I think what was being referenced earlier was the closed school board meeting that we had for purposes of school board negotiations or labor negotiations. So just to do that. And then finally, the most important piece, and I think the thing that's most that I'm so excited to say is a thank you. Thank you to our teachers. For every single teacher in the district, I think, engages in sort of pre-negotiation, sort of interest filling and other things. Although there is a team of people at a table, it is an entire district process that people weigh in on. And so thank you to our teachers and to the team for sharing that information. Thank you for being patient. This is not something we typically do at the end of October. This is something that we try to do at the end of June. So we really appreciate the patience that our district showed. And most importantly, thank you to each of our teachers for giving everything they have every single day in not easy days sometimes. To our students, thanks as well to our negotiation team and our district leaders for this most important process.
Anyone else? Yeah, Heidi.
So as you all know, I was part of the negotiations team, and it was an incredible experience. And I just want to underscore what Sarah just mentioned, is that I'm so very grateful to every single one of our teachers, and I'm continually inspired by you every single day. You're truly the best in the business. Like there's no place else that I know you can find the quality of teacher. I just also want to say that the IBB process was incredible. I learned an amazing amount. Our teachers take on so much, and we're so fortunate for that. This process is really, the baseline and the foundation for it is for open conversation. It's constant collaboration, and our district is only as strong as how intentional we are. 22 meetings certainly supports that. It was very intentional and long conversation, and we got to the finish line. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Paras.
Yeah, I'll just finish it quickly. Now, first of all, again, thank you, everyone. Teachers are our greatest assets. And again, the way it has planned out, really appreciate everyone coming to the table. Thank you to board colleagues. I mean, it's not easy to summarize 22 meetings, but they kept us in the loop, obviously, through these closed meetings. A lot of numbers were discussed. Again, thanks to finance team and HR team. And again, not going to say it again because I think, Sarah, you summarized it, but looking at the trend, I mean, we are barely beating the inflation when you look at the actual salary increase. If you go back 2 years and look at where we were with teacher salary increments coming out of or throughout the cost containment, again, wasn't much. So considering all that factor where we are, I think personally, this is exactly where I was expecting from get-go, to be perfectly honest. So really happy with the outcome. One last thing on the fund balance. Yes, it's a valid point. We have to keep an eye on fund balance. But to best of my knowledge, the numbers that we looked at, personally, I didn't feel that was significant impact. Yes, there is an impact. And we talked about it in the finance meeting. We have to pay close attention to those numbers. This is not the only factor which is driving the fund balance. There are other things which we have to tightly manage to have the better fund balance. And that's going to be sort of, obviously on finance team and all of us to make sure we follow that. So again, yes, there is an impact, but given the play or the role that teachers play in this district, I think we are heading in the right direction. So again, thank you everyone for your help and support.
Good, Dan.
Thank you so much to everyone who made the contract possible. It was a pretty lengthy process, and I'm glad we finally have a conclusion that seems amenable to all actors involved. I believe very strongly that our teachers are most integral part of who we are, and it's an outstanding investment to make in them and their well-being, because that corresponds directly to how our students do and our overall district as a whole. So I think the situation fiscally the district sits in is strong, and this contract meets that moment. So I'm grateful to those who made this possible, and keep doing what you do. Thanks so much.
Do you have something, Sam? Right? Yeah.
That's why originally I said I took several days to think through, because trust me, it's very hard to come as a mean guy. But at the same time, as I said, seeing when we discussed that the fund balance come to 4.2, it felt very uncomfortable. And before we had the third meeting, majority, quite a bit of actually, school board members were saying with another percent, which apparently I cannot disclose right now, that it's pretty good number. And all of a sudden, things changed during last meeting to these numbers. I don't know what it is. I'm confused because obviously people who said even that this is the second number was, previous number was pretty good. They were the ones who were sitting at the negotiation table. So I took it that they know more. And all of a sudden things change. I don't know if it is because of, I've seen obviously election by election, how we're getting union endorsed candidates. And it makes me very uncomfortable when by the third meeting, things are changing to different.
Valentina, I have to stop you. You cannot disclose things that were
I
discussed.
did not say anything else.
That were discussed in the closed session, please. I do not believe we can do that at the board table.
Okay.
Right.
Can I can disclose that our fund balance is going to 4.2, correct?
That also was a part of the discussion, but it's already been discussed now. So yes, I don't know what the numbers are, but that is also a part of the discussion at the closed session. So I believe that I forgot the statute, and Sarah, thank you for bringing that number up, but the statute clearly says that it's a closed session and the negotiation details cannot be discussed at the board table. If the teachers want to have a recording of that of the conversation, they have a right to do that. But
I will also say the statutes which I'm looking at. It is 179A.14, collective bargaining agreement negotiation procedures. And it clearly states that all negotiations, mediation sessions, and hearing between public employers and public employees just a minute, I need, respective representatives are public meetings, except when otherwise provided by a commissioner. What should be closed is when we made strategy. And you told me that the reason why we cannot write anything because it's closed session, this is a strategy. Once contract will be reached upon, that things can be discussed as for example, last numbers. So I'm not sure what kind of secret information I'm disclosing. Second, when we're talking about percent, yes, it is 3.75 and 3%, but at the end of the day, there is cost. It's a question, how much is it costing to us? The total cost is 10.26%. And it doesn't sound a lot, but when you consider steps and levels, it is pretty good, a pretty good amount. And as I said, I would have given even more, but as if right now the factual numbers are leaving me at very uncomfortable place. And there are going to be other negotiations, other groups negotiating, and seeing that other groups would like to have the same numbers too. And I would not blame them because they are also workers. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay. So first of all, I'm sorry I did not remember the statute number, but I knew it was going to be a closed session, and that is allowed by law. I just want to make a statement here. Over the past months, I've had the privilege of attending 22 board meetings, like Heidi has said, Dave has said repeatedly, focused on our teachers' contract negotiations. These discussions were thoughtful, thorough, and always guided by our shared commitment to providing the best possible education for our students. I want to acknowledge the dedication of our teachers and their representatives as well as our administration team for engaging in constructive dialogue. The agreement we are approving today reflects collaboration, mutual respect, and a focus on both our education and the students they serve. I'm proud of the process we followed, one marked by transparency, diligence, and commitment to our community values. I believe this contract positions our district for continued excellence and demonstrates the importance of working together to achieve common goals. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this process, and I am pleased to support the approval of this contract. So I am going to read the recommendation again one more time. The recommended action is to approve the contract with the Wayzata Education Association for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027, as agreed upon by the bargaining teams and ratified by the Wayzata Education Association. Okay, this is a roll call vote.
Mr. Chair, I do have a question. In advance of this vote, are there any conflicts of interest that need to be disclosed by members of the board?
Can you be specific as far as what you have in mind?
Yes, we have an election coming up. We have people campaigning for the election.
Yes.
And we've had WEA endorsements sent out in advance and candidates accepting those endorsements in advance of this vote. So I'm wondering again, in advance of this vote, are there any conflicts of interest that should be disclosed?
You can discuss, but
I don't have any conflicts of interest to disclose. I'm just wondering if anyone else does.
who I don't.
Okay,
Anybody else?
okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. Yeah. Okay. So you want me to read the recommendation again, or would you be okay with continue? Read it again? No. Okay. All right. So this is a roll call vote. Heidi.
We have a motion by Sarah Johansson and a second by Paras Bende. This is the roll call vote. Valentina Ayers,
With a heavy heart, no.
Dan Ginestra,
Yes.
Sarah Johansson,
Yes.
Paras Bende,
Yes.
Sheila Pryor is absent, Heidi Cater, yes. Milind Sohoni.
Yes. The motion carries. Thank you, Heidi. Okay. So we move on to the next HR agenda item, which is the recommendation of the approval of the 2025-26 supplemental salary for high school event workers. I believe, Dave, you already described a little bit of that. If you want to say something more, please go ahead.
Thank you, members of the board, Superintendent Anderson. So the summary in front of you during the 25 through 27 WA contract negotiations, it was agreed upon that the high school event workers portion of Appendix D should move to a supplementary pay schedule consistent with other rates of pay approved annually by the school board. While teachers can work events at the high school and often do, and we love it when they do, there's not really a connection between the rest of the WA contract and this section of rates of pay. By moving off the WEA contract, WHS Activities Director will have the flexibility to recommend rate changes on an annual basis to the board and will have the ability to be responsive to budgets, the revenue and expenditures associated with them established to effectively run these activities. Human Resources, WEA negotiators, and the WHS Activities Department are all in agreement that the annual school board approval of these rates is more appropriate than holding them within the two-year WEA contract negotiations process. The attached rates represent a 2% increase to the 24-25 high school event worker rates. This is consistent with the recommended increase for the Appendix D in the WA contract for the 25-26 school year. So the increase happens to be the same. We're just moving them off the schedule, and the recommendation is before you.
So the recommended action is to approve the 2025-26 supplemental salaries as recommended. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. This is, I'm sorry, anybody? Oh, Valentina? Yeah.
Since here teachers are included too, so I would like to disclose when I have a chance. When we're talking about interest, it's not only that in the past we had endorsement. Not only this year we had endorsement, we had in the past endorsement too.
Sorry, this is, it has to be on topic with what we're currently reviewing, is the supplemental salaries.
Ne-
That's the only thing that can be discussed at
But-
this time.
Sarah was able to put her comment too.
Sarah,
Because it was related to the last agenda item.
This agenda is including teachers too.
I will let her speak. Thank you.
So I'm not sure how we are separating here. That's why I would like to disclose that it's not only about this year endorsement, it's about previous year's endorsement too. So yes, this thing in future need to be discussed because it puts, to be honest, you cannot then have people who had been endorsed sitting at negotiation table. And it is not only this year, it happened 2 years ago, endorsement too. Public can look up at the people who had been endorsed. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? I just want to clarify one thing. I am one of the candidates that has been endorsed by the teachers union. The negotiations were completed well before I was endorsed. Am I right, Dave? Can you tell me the date that we had the final meeting?
Yeah, our final meeting, we reached a tentative agreement on October 9th, I believe. The process technically isn't completed until today with your vote.
Sure. Yeah. So yes, I again refuse to accept that there was any conflict of interest. I have been honest. I have shown integrity, and I have nothing to do with the negotiations versus my endorsement as a candidate. Thank you. Any other comments? Any discussion? All right. So I'm going to read the recommendation again. The recommended action is to approve the 2025-26 supplemental salaries as recommended. This is a roll call vote again.
We had a motion by Dan Ginestra and a second by Sarah Johansson. The roll call vote. Sarah Johansson,
Yes.
Paras Bende,
Yes.
Sheila Pryor is absent, Heidi Cater, yes, Valentina Ayers,
Yes.
Dan Ginestra,
Yes.
Milind Sohoni.
Yes, thank you. The motion carries. Okay, this concludes the Wayzata Public Schools special regular board meeting for this afternoon. The next regular school board meeting will be on Monday, November 10th. The time is now 5:15. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The motion carries. We will take a short 10-minute break, right, Amy? 10-minute break before we convene for the work session. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education such special regular meeting for Monday, October 27th, 2025 is adjourned.